in. So go ahead and insert your pulley into the base. And then have your stabilizers nearby for the end of class, or for actually when we do our tabletop work. But we're gonna have it upright to start. But let me just get you guys the playlist. And then I'm sorry for the lighting, bear with me if you're just joining. I was at the studio, it's hard to film from home. But I had to make a last minute switch. Hey Malika, I haven't seen you in so long. All right, guys, just give me one more minute and I'll get the playlist and then we'll get started. Again, you need your stabilizers for when we do tabletop work, but we're gonna have our base, everything put together for right now. Sorry, guys. All right, well, I'm really sorry. I can't get to, the computer's being really, really slow and I'd rather start on time, guys. So I'm gonna just add my Spotify name. If you follow me on Spotify, that is my Spotify name. And then there's a playlist called Thursday and it's called like Thursday Motor Class. So if you wanna use that, or you are always welcome to play your own music. And this is the name of the playlist, and then we will go ahead and get started. And again, I'm very, very sorry. You guys know I usually like to start on time and I'm usually organized. So, all right. So we're going to start with it upright. And then because we're doing it in this position, it's going to be a little bit more upper body all throughout class. So more upper body all throughout class because we're going to have this upright the entire time. Your goal is to stabilize it. So just make sure you have this in this position, but we're actually going to start with a little bit of plank work, hip opening. So I want you to have some space out in front of you. And we're just going to start with plank walkout. So feet about hip width distance apart. And then I just want you to walk it out into your plank. Find that plank hold, heels high, legs straight, belly pulling up and in. And then hit a down dog on the way back. Shift the weight to the heels. Start to walk the palms in. Find that forward fold. And then with a straight spine, so think about squeezing your glutes, think about engaging hamstrings, straight spine, come all the way up to the top. So then forward fold, give me 2 more of these, and then we're gonna find that plank hold. So really just pausing wherever feels best here. You can pause in that plank, pause a little bit longer in that down dog, but just starting to warm up the spine, warming up the body here, softening through knees, and then again with straight spine, coming all the way up. Give me 1 more. And on that next one, I want you to hold in your plank. So you're gonna find that plank hold in 4, 3, 2, and 1, hitting that plank hold here. Now, option to bring the knees down if you have tighter hips. Otherwise, we're gonna pull right knee in towards right elbow. Bring right foot down to the floor. So you might need to walk it up slightly, but I want you to find this low lunge position, but it's essentially a plank on the upper body, and then a low lunge on lower body. So lots of opening through this back hip. And then with control, sweep the foot back, other foot, other side. So if you're doing this on the knees, you're gonna have a little bit more space here. You can even come and take the plank out of it. So if you have really, really tight hips, you might need to come up here and find these low kneeling lunges here, where you're gonna keep that knee on the ground. So I just want you to find a little bit of hip opening. We've got 20 seconds, and then we're gonna hit that plank. Nice, guys. So just focusing on stability in the upper body, and then finding that nice deep stretch through that back hip flexor. So last one here, last 8 seconds. Hit that plank hold, knees or toes, in 3, 2, and 1. Find your plank hold here again, knees or toes. You're gonna give me hip dip, shoulder tap combo to close out this little mini warm up here. So I want you to give me hip dip right, back to center, hip dip left, shoulder tap right, and then start your hip dips opposite side. So it's 1 set of hip dips, one set of shoulder taps. So just trying to get that blood flowing a little bit more. Again, if you're on the toes here, legs are straight, pull those kneecaps up, getting those legs nice and long. This is your last 15 seconds. And then we're gonna take it into our standing work with our motor. So working again to stabilize through upper body. You guys look good, neck is long. Keep pressing the floor away, whether you're on the knees or the toes. This is your last 8, last couple reps. Final 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a little child's pose, roll those wrists out, and then make your way to standing. We're gonna go ahead and get started here with single leg work. So I want you to have no clicks on, so just make sure you're on that level 1, lowest resistance, where your buttons are not engaged, buttons are released. And then again, by having our base and holding it upright, you're gonna get a little bit of extra core upper body work. So I want you to put the loop on your left foot. So loop goes to your left foot here. We're gonna start with some mobility circles. So I want you to have your hands on the bar here, and then immediately you're gonna feel this left side wanna pull back. You're gonna be pressing a little bit deeper into the left palm here. Elbows stay soft though. I want you to make sure this right leg is nice and strong. So right leg is strong, knee is soft though. Find a 90-degree bend in the left leg. So I want you to just find this one leg position. Your right leg, pull back on the kneecap, squeeze through the glutes. So I want you to make sure this leg is strong as a statue here. Little hinge forward. Now I want you to keep this leg at 90 to start. We're gonna open out to the side. Make sure you have space behind you. Kick the leg out, pull back to the center line, knee bends to center. So you're just drawing a big circle, but I want you to think about opening from the hip, squeezing from the glutes, little sweeps back. So again, knee pulls to center, open and kick back. That's where you're really gonna have to control this base. Pull back to center. So just some nice big hip mobility circles here. Obviously, the wider you go with that leg, you're gonna get a little bit more work on that glute, but making sure. Nice, Susie, yes. You're keeping that base as stable as possible. Nice, Nicole, yes. Melissa, awesome. So that base is gonna move, wobble a little bit, but I want you to try to keep it as grounded as possible, really pressing through whichever side is hovering. You're gonna have to press and hold a little bit deeper with that palm. So chest should not be going forward too much here. Want to keep that little hinge, really just moving from this hip. 6 seconds, reverse your direction in 3, 2, and 1. So we're gonna kick back first. Open slightly from the hip, knee bends in, and close. So kick back first, open when leg is extended, knee bends in, think about pulling knees towards left avocado, come back to center. So you've got these mobility circles, opposite direction. Now right leg should be stabilizing. You should really feel that right leg starting to shake. You're trying to press through that big right toe, pinky toe, and heel to keep that leg nice and stable here. This is your last 15. Awesome job, guys. Nice cat. We're gonna find a hold with our left leg back, setting up for some single leg squats. So lots of time on this right leg. Right leg is really your working leg right now. Think like when we're on the machine and we do piston. This is really just to destabilize our upper body in this right leg. Last one here. We're gonna hold left leg straight back in 3, 2, and 1. Hold left leg straight back for me. Now we're gonna pull left knee in as you keep right knee in place over ankle, and you're gonna drive your booty back just about 2 inches. This time you're gonna feel your base wanna tip to the left, and your goal is to keep it upright. Then as you drive into this leg, reach and kick back. So knee comes in, sit it back and down. Think about keeping right knee in place over ankle, feel quad, glute engaged. As you extend back leg. So both legs are bending at the same time or in that same position, and then both legs extend. So working here to not let that right knee wobble. Again, you're working to hold that base as steady as possible, but I want you to see if you can lighten that grip a little bit on that base. Yes, Jen, nice. And then as you go into that single leg squat, we're not cocking the right hip out. I want you to think about squeezing the glutes, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Think about sitting back on that little mini chair, that knee points straight forward. It's a small move, but it should be tough. The more flexibility you have in the hips, and then depending on the length of your femur, you might get lower in your single leg squat. That's great. But if it's only 1 to 2 inches, that's all you need. Just focus on that big glute squeeze, just like a regular squat, to drive up. You have 5. We're gonna hold in our squat, but then we're gonna extend the leg in 3, 2, and 1. Hold in that single leg squat, but now extend the leg. Hold it here, try to hold that base steady. We're gonna go to essentially a first lunge. So keep this back leg straight as you extend into the right leg, and now bend back into that right leg as you reach your toes back. So just like a first lunge here, but it's really just building off of that single leg squat. You guys have 30 seconds in this full range. So 30 seconds in this full range, and then we're gonna hold at the bottom. Yes, like a nice. So it's gonna be more challenging if you keep that leg hovering the entire time, but I want you to lock it out. See if you can get a little bit of an extra squeeze through that left glute by lifting leg up, keeping it a little bit straighter. This is your last 15. We're gonna hold at the bottom. So you're gonna bend into that right leg. Make sure that knee's not driving forward. Nice challenge, Jen. You're gonna find that hold. This is your last rep. Take that leg back. In 3, 2, and 1. Take that leg back. Again, toes can tap, or can you hover it? Drop your tailbone, make sure low back isn't activating. Hold it here, chest hinges forward slightly. Now give me little pulses through that right leg. Little up, little down. Toes can come down if you need to. Little up, little down. This is your final 10. You're gonna give me one more round of full range. Back to full. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to that full range. Really try to keep those hips level. Again, anytime we're in this single leg work, right hip is gonna wanna go out. You keep that glute under tension to keep it at center. So all of the weight pressing through this right leg, but really a full body move here because you're trying to keep that base stable. Watch that knee, making sure we're not shifting the weight back. So as we take that left leg back, toes can tap down, but I don't want to see a shift to the weight. So even if it's a micro shift, all of the weight stays forward. Yes, you can. This is your last 10. You're going to hold it one more time. This time we pulse our back leg. So we're going to hold at the bottom. Last 5. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find your hold at the bottom. Can you find that hover? Hold it here. Now front leg stays low and steady. Just give me little pulses through that back leg. Your goal is to keep that right leg so still as you pulse that left leg up 1 inch and down 1 inch. Final 10. We're going to change it up. Last bit of standing work here. It's a curtsy to kick. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out if you need to, guys. This is your shakeout point. Last standing work here before we go to tabletop. So we're going to start. I'm going to face you guys so you can see. Have some room to the side of you. Now ground through this right foot. I want your right toes to turn out slightly. We're going to sweep left leg back to curtsy, but then left leg kicks. So we're going to sweep left leg behind us, make an X with the legs. Left knee turns out this way, right knee turns out this way. Bend into the legs. Use this just like a bar here for stability. Find your curtsy. And then I want you to squeeze that right glute. Kick left side. So it's curtsy and then kick. So building a little bit of power, a little bit of speed here if you want to go for reps. But I want you to get that nice deep curtsy. Awesome, let's say yes. So make sure you have enough space in between those feet. So this shouldn't be a curtsy. This should be your curtsy. I want you to have enough space that hips go down. Nothing drives forward. So it's not a drive forward in those lunges. Same thing, knee's gonna stay in place over ankle. We just drop it straight down. Obviously, the lower you go, it's gonna be a little bit more challenging. And then when we go into that kick, it's less of a press off with this back knee. And think about driving with this front glute, that right glute, to extend the leg first, then kick. So focus on keeping the weight in that right leg still. This is your last 30 seconds here. We're just gonna hold in our curtsy. Awesome, Stephanie, nice. You guys look good. Finding your deepest curtsy, weight stays centered still. Back heel is high. All of the weight pressing through that front heel. Last 20 seconds, nice, Deborah. We're gonna find that curtsy hold and pulse it out to close it out. So we have one final round of standing pulses, and then we're gonna go down to the floor for some heavy tabletop work. So last few reps here. Last 8, you're gonna hold in your curtsy. Keep that bar as centered as possible. In 3, 2, and 1. Hold in your curtsy, knees track out, pull the chest back, arms are straight if possible. Give me little pulses. So think about keeping knees tracking in slightly different directions, little up, little down. This is it, guys. Last 15 seconds, try to stay in this pulse here. Pull the chest back 1 more inch, sink a little bit deeper. Nice cat. This is your last 8, last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rise all the way up. Take your loop off. Bring your base down to the floor. Grab your stabilizers. So we're going to go into that tabletop work now. So stabilizers are going to go underneath the base. You want it sort of at each end so that it's most stable. And then on your left avocado, I want you to give me 2 clicks. So 2 clicks here. So going to that 9-pound highest resistance. And then we're going to bring our right knee to the base. So that's going to help keep the base in place. Hands come to the bar here. You can always walk them down to the floor for a little bit more stability for the wrist, but it's going to be a little bit more unstable up on the bar here. Make sure I have a good angle for you guys. So right knee down, find a tabletop here. Again, you have the heaviest resistance on. So immediately, I want you to make sure you're not putting all of your weight in your right hip. So we're working this left leg now primarily, so left side here. Hips are square, shoulders are square. Knee pulls into the chest, flex through the foot, reach, squeeze, kick back. So knee pulls in, reach, squeeze, kick back. So just like before, you're trying to keep it nice and steady so you're not letting that base move. So knee comes in, keep everything square, reach, flex, kick back. Try to resist against that rope or resist against the pulley as the knee comes in, because obviously the rope wants to come back in with that heavy resistance. You are resisting as you pull back in and out. You've got 20 seconds, and then we're going to hold at the back. If at any point you feel that low back kicking in, I want you to release your pulley all the way in, take a click off. So if you feel low back kicking in this series, that means that resistance is too high for your form control, and you need to go down a little bit. So weight should be in this left hamstring, left glute. You guys have your final 10. We're going to reach, kick back, hold. Arms should be long, neck should be long. You should be feeling the core activate as well. Reach, kick back, hold. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. Kick back, hold. Hold it here. Shoulders should be over wrists. Belly pulled in. Put some more weight in that left hip for me. Now it's straight leg lift. So I want you to lift the leg straight up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze through the glute. Low back does not bend. Toes tap down. So straight leg lifts here on this left side. So leg lift straight up. Inhale, lower back down. Straight leg lifts here. You've got 30 seconds in these straight leg lifts. For an extra challenge, I want you to see if you can take a little bit of weight out of this right hand, or maybe hover it all together. So see if you can hover that right hand. That's going to make core kick in a little bit more, but making sure we're not putting the weight over to the right side. So it's all about keeping those hips nice and centered. That leg is staying as straight as possible. So leg is straight. You're in that tabletop parallel to the floor. Little lift, little lower. This is your last 15. We're going to go out of this on isometric. So we're going to lift and hold for this final bit of work. Last 8. Lift and hold in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find a hold here. Drop that left hip slightly. Pull the belly button up and in. Press in through that left palm. Now give me little pulses up 1 inch and down 1 inch. Little lift, little lower. Hamstring should be lengthening and activating on this left side. Point through the toes. See if you can hold at that max position. Final 10 seconds of movement. You're just going to give me a hold to close it out. Hang tough, guys. Finish in the move. Last 6. Lift and hold in 3, 2, and 1. Lift and hold. Hold it here. For that extra challenge, maybe right hand just hovers or it extends. This is your last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job, guys. Bring it in. Now we're going to go to upper body. So shake out those glutes here. I'm just going to have to keep changing my angles so you guys can see. We're going to go to heavy resistance, both sides. So I want you to do the 2 clicks on each side here so that you have that 9-pound heavy resistance each side. We're going to go to some cross arm rows here. But I want you to squeeze in with the inner thighs. So we're going to keep our low body active here by squeezing in on the base. So glutes are turned on, quads are turned on, inner thighs turned on. I want you to grab your ropes or grab your loops. Take one in the opposite hand. So you've got opposite rope, each hand here. Arms go long. You can walk farther away to add more tension, or be closer, and then you can sit down all together to make this more stable. So if you want to take the work out of the low body, just take a seat on your base. Arms go long in front, shoulders back and down. Squeeze the glutes, stabilize with the inner thighs. Keep your base perfectly still as you pull elbows up and back. Shoulders do not lift though. So shoulders do not lift here. We're keeping shoulders back and down, squeezing through upper back. So I want you to feel like you're opening through the chest, contracting through upper back. And then I'll show you guys from the front. My elbows are not really going higher than my shoulders. So elbows here are not going up here, because then that's gonna pull the base. Think about pulling them back to squeeze shoulder blades back and down. You've got 15 seconds. You're gonna find a hold. So we're gonna find that cross arm hold to the back. So elbows are bending, guys. Make sure those elbows are bending. Elbows bend like this. If you want to glance at me, this is what your arms should look like at the end. Palms should be, yes, right there, Susie, nice. So palms should be by those armpits, nice, Melissa. Elbows pulling up and back, beautiful, Stephanie. You guys have your final 6. Give me that hold. In 3, 2, and 1. Find your hold. Holding at your max. Now I want you to keep a grip on these ropes. You're gonna add more tension. Going into thigh dancing, squeeze through the glutes, hinge your upper body back. Pull, 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 squeeze through inner thighs. Don't let that base move. Hinge back to the top. So it's not a huge range of motion here. I'm just hinging, changing the angle of my knees. It's a max hold on those shoulders and on that upper back. Squeezing glutes, little hinge back, little hinge forward, but you're squeezing so tight with those inner thighs, you are not letting that base move. Of course, if you're sitting down, you're just hinging upper spine, or whole spine, I should say, from the hips up and back. So if you're here, you're gonna get more range because that base won't move. You guys have 10. We're gonna release out. We switch our grip, switch the hand that's on top. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch your hand that's on top for me. So opposite hand comes on top. So opposite hand or arm should be on top now. One more round, full range here. This time I want you to add in that hinge. So squeezing through inner thighs. As we row back, you're gonna give me that little hinge. Inhale, come forward. Again, starting farther back is gonna add more tension, but your goal is to not let that base lift by squeezing and lifting from inner thighs and those glutes. You guys have your final 20. We're gonna hold at the back. We pulse it out one more time. So watch the neck. Neck in line with spine. When you hinge, you're just changing the angle of the knee. So it's not just a reach of the chest back. I want you to keep your back as flat as possible. Nice and like a elbows going wide again. When you end, thumbs should be, or palms should be by those armpits. Last one here, nice, Nicole. Find that hold. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drive back, find your hold. Hinge it back if you can. Squeeze and lift through those inner thighs and glutes a little bit more. Little pulses here now. So now you're gonna hold at your hinge. Elbows go up 1 inch and down 1 inch. Little bend, little extend. Drop the shoulders, lengthen through the neck. Shoulder blades squeezing together. Final 8. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job, guys. Bring it in. I want you to take your clicks off here. So go back to that level 1 on each side. We're gonna do single arm tricep kickbacks here on the left. So right knee is gonna come back to the base here. Left leg goes back. So you're gonna find almost like a full plank on the left side, but then a tabletop on the right. So destabilizing a little bit. You're gonna feel the obliques kick in here. I want you to find 90-degree bend on this left side. We exhale, squeeze through the tricep kickback left side. Now, if level 1 feels good, stay there. Otherwise, add a click, see how that feels. But I want you to focus on keeping lower body perfectly still. For more stability, just bring this left knee down as well. It becomes like a little staggered, regular kneeling tricep kickback. Otherwise, see if you can find that plank. To make it even more challenging, take your right knee back some, work towards that modified plank on the right side, full plank on the left. So that right knee goes away from the palm, making your base a little bit longer to destabilize. Nice, Susie. So left arm, kicking back, squeezing elbow tight to the body. Elbow doesn't really change height. You want to pick a height for that elbow. The higher you go, more challenging, but then it's not swinging. The only thing moving is that forearm and your palm. It reaches back,
Give me that lockout squeeze, trying to work the back of the upper arm, sculpting those triceps. You have your final, excuse me guys, final 20. You're gonna hold at the back. So we're gonna close it out with some pulses at the back, and then we're gonna go into some mermaid work. So last little bit here, 15 seconds. Really emphasize here that squeeze at the back, slow return in. So exhale, squeeze, lock it out, control that return in. Hips are as level as possible here, even in this stagger. Last one here, hold in 3, 2, and 1. Find your hold. Drop the shoulders, lengthen through the neck. Put the weight in this left tricep. Give me little straight arm pulses. Little up, little down, little 1-inch lifts, little lift, little lower. Final 10, guys. Stay with it. Arm is straight. Nice, Deborah, just lifting up 1 and down 1. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job, guys. I want everyone to go back to level 1 on that left side. So take that click off if you added it. Right knee to base. Left foot props out to the side. We're gonna go into a little mermaid extension here. So finding this a really unstable position, usually we would do this with knees or the knee and the foot at the same height. Now they're gonna be at staggered heights. So right arm is gonna go long. So you're making an X sort of with your body, left leg straight out to the side, right arm is long. Drop this right shoulder. Now, think about reaching, right fingertips up, lengthening through left side, shoulder back and down. Reach and extend, right fingertips. When I say reach, it's probably just gonna be 1 inch. And then you inhale, come back to the top. Ground through the pinky edge of the left foot. It's a reach to the left, inhale back to center. So right arm is working in this extension, but then really trying to load up this left oblique. My spine isn't bending, so I'm not coming here. To make this more manageable, drop the arm, hold it at a 90-degree bend. So to make this more manageable, you're still gonna get that shoulder work, but it's gonna be a lot less tension. And then if that's still too much, just drop it all together and just do body weight. So just do arm weight if you need to. If you feel neck kicking in on this right side, I want you to drop that loop. This is your last 15. We're gonna reach and hold. Extra challenge as well. Take that left arm out. Add in a little bit of extra weight here. You can also just lower the arm altogether. You guys look good. Neck is long. Make sure we're not bending through the neck. Neck is in line with spine. Last 6, reach and hold. 3, 2, and 1. Reach and hold for me. Hold it here. Lengthen through those right fingertips if you can. Give me little pulses. Just a little lift, little lower. So you're at that max. Squeezing, lengthening through this left side. Little lift, little lower. Last 8. Final 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the arm. Nice job, guys. Chest expansion. One final move in between here, and then we're gonna go to our tricep work and that mermaid other side, then we're back in lower body. So I want you to go to maybe level 2, so where you add 1 click onto each side. Palms come in line with thighs. Option to just sit back or see if you can keep those inner thighs active again. One more round of that lift and squeeze through the inner thighs, but we're gonna keep chest upright. Palms are in line with your thighs, arms in line with your ribs. We exhale, press the arms back behind you, back for 2 and in for 2. So you're squeezing shoulder blades together, pressing the palms back. So a little bit more upper back here, but also triceps. So the farther back you get those palms, or the more they start to lift up, that's gonna kick in those triceps. But the move is just like it sounds. I want you to make sure you're expanding the chest. So we're not letting shoulders round in or round up. Chest expands to isolate through upper back. So neck stays long, chin away from chest. Your range might be 2 inches, it might be 3 inches. If you wanna add on another click, see how that feels. It's always okay if you wanna shorten that range to go to that heavier tension. I'm always fine with that. It's just we wanna maintain form. This is your last 10. We're gonna hold at the back. So max hold in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find your max hold. Lengthen through the fingertips, shoulder blades squeeze together, expand through the chest, collarbones nice and wide. Give me little pulses to the back, little squeeze, little press back, little release in. Almost out of this. You got it, Melissa. Nice, Malika. Neck is longer, a little bit taller for me. Squeeze a little bit more through those inner thighs. Final 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job, guys. Release your loops in. Go back to that level 1 each side. So release your buttons all together. We're gonna go to tricep work on the right side. So left knee comes down, Left palm down to the base. Right leg goes back. Shoulders nice and square. Right arm to a 90-degree bend. We reach, kick back, out for 2, in for 2. Now again, see how level 1 feels? That's why we do this single side work. Each side is different, so listen to your body. Make sure you're not sinking into this left side. You can take your foot wider for a little bit more stability, but we kick it back right. Inhale, release in. Squeezing and lifting from that right tricep. So you're gonna pick a height for the elbow again. You're not letting elbow swing. Elbow comes to one height. Reach, squeeze, extend back. Inhale, come in. You guys have 30 seconds here, and then we're gonna find that hold. Making our way through this upper body block, then we are back in low body. You know exactly what's coming. So I want you to try to work just as hard on this side as you did on the last. The good news is, if you're right-handed, you guys know that dominant side, it's always gonna be a little bit easier. It's a little bit stronger, which is again why we do this single side work. Last 12, we're gonna find those straight arm pulses. Right elbow staying nice and tight to the body, bicep hugging into the ribs. Find that straight arm. Last 7, straight arm hold in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straight arm hold, hold it here. Drop that right shoulder. Give me little pulses. Little lift, little lower. Squeezing and lengthening through that tricep. Little up, little down. This is your last 14 seconds, guys. Little up, little down. We go to that mermaid on this side. This is your last 7. Keep pulsing, little in, little out. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring it in. Go back to level 1 on this right avocado. So make sure no buttons are pressed. Left knee to base, right leg kicks out to the side. So left knee to base, right leg kicks out to the side. Your knees and feet should be in one line, or say your right foot, knees should be in one line. Left leg is obviously, or left foot kicked back behind you. You're gonna grab your loop left hand, arm can extend out. Make that nice diagonal with the body here, toes all the way to that right foot, or find this 90-degree bend, or just lower the arm, because arms are a little bit more fatigued here. Last arm move, sculpting through this right oblique this time. Inhale, lengthen, reach, straight spine over. Reach back to the top. Now on this side, I'm feeling my right hip a little bit more, so I'm sorry I didn't tell you guys on the first side. You can always take a bend here as well. It's gonna shorten your range, but it's gonna take weight out of that hip. So if you have a tighter hip, I would take that bend. Otherwise, leg is long, pressing in through that pinky edge. We've got 20 seconds here, and then we're gonna find that hold. So your goal is to lengthen here, lengthening to either side of the room, trying to drop left shoulder, left arm long, but again, you always have that bend in the arm as an option. It's a really small movement, just like every mermaid. Bring your neck in line with your spine, guys. Make sure we're not bending here. I want that straight line through the spine, straight line through shoulder, out that stabilizing foot if possible. This is your last 10. We reach and hold, extra challenge. That right arm goes out to the side. Really try to lift and lengthen just above this right hip bone. Last one here, you hold in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find that hold, hold it here. You're holding weight through that right oblique, little pulses to close it out. Little lift, little lower, little up, little down. Drop the shoulders. This is your last 10. Keep lengthening, grow a little bit longer if you can. Last 6, last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release your arms back in. Take some shoulder rolls if you need it. Base is gonna come upright again. We are back in low body, so we're gonna go to those mobility circles, other side. So mobility circles, other side, make sure you're on level 1. So level 1 here. Loop goes to the right foot now. So loop to the right foot here. And then we're gonna get going in those mobility circles. So I want you to make sure, so left leg has done a little bit of work on this side. With those kickbacks, it's stabilized. So left side might be a little bit trickier this time. Start by finding your balance first. So arms are mostly long. Think of this like bar here. That left foot, you're grounding through big toe, pinky toe, and heel. Left leg is long and strong. So we're not kicking left hip out. Squeeze through that left glute. Turn everything on, even just standing right here. You should be engaging so hard through glute and quad just to hold this standing position. Now press deeper through this right palm. We're gonna open knee out to the side, abduct through that right glute, kick back, then pull in through the center line. So immediately my left side feels a lot wobblier here. Little bend in that knee. Just make sure you're not hyperextending. Got these circles. Again, this side will also be trickier because our arms are a little bit more tired. So we have to keep that upper body active. Drop the shoulders. Make sure we're not putting tension in the shoulders or the jaw or the neck to hold this base. Think length. Think like holding a plank on the upper body here. You can take a little bend in the elbows, leaning forward slightly if you need to. That's going to help you stabilize. So a bit tighter grip, little bend in the elbows, going to help you stabilize, but we're not sinking into anything. This is your last 10 in this direction. We're going to reverse the direction of our circles. Last few circles here, really trying to wake up that outer glute with that squeeze and open out to the side. Final 4, 3, 2, and 1. This time, kick back first. Open when leg is straight. Knee pulls in towards right avocado, closes to center. So kick it back. Take that rotation of toes and knees. So externally rotating from that hip as knee bends in. Pull to center. Again, with these circles, we're starting to wake up that right glute, obviously, or it's already awake. Focusing on that mobility and right hip joint. But left leg is really your working leg. So left leg is the one I'm trying to burn out right now. So you should feel it, hamstring, stabilizing all of your weight. Nice, Stephanie, nice reach. This is your last 10 in these circles. We're gonna kick our leg back and we're gonna go into our single leg squats. So we kick our leg back. Last few reps here. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Kick that leg back. Now we're gonna go into those single leg squats. So knee bends in, so right knee comes up. As you reach the hips to the back, left knee stays in place over ankle. Little hinge forward, drop the tail, single leg squat, and then we extend everything. So right leg extends back as you extend through this left leg. Knees bend at the same time, but right knee up towards chest as you drive the hips back and down to bend into that left knee. Really nice, Susie, yes. So we're driving hips up. Yes, there we go. Awesome. Everyone's going to look a little bit different. Your goal is to really try to keep, just like in a normal squat, to try to keep the chest as high up as possible. But if you have tighter hips, it can help you get that drive a little bit farther back with those hips to hinge forward. But know that if you have the flexibility, see how it feels to keep that chest a little bit more upright. This is your last 20 here. And then we're going to kick our right leg back and hold, setting up for that round of first lunge. So we're going to set up for our first lunges here. So this would be a really small movement, but really actually one of the harder movements in terms of stability. So also focusing on not letting your left knee pull inward. So you're not letting your left knee cave to the right. I want that kneecap to ideally point straight forward. You're trying to lift up through the arch of your left foot. So that's when I say ground through the big toe, pinky toe, and heel. This is your last one here. Kick it back in 3, 2, and 1. Kick it back, hold it here. We're gonna go into that first lunge. So left knee in place over the ankle, right leg is back. Now squeeze through left glute. Right leg stays straight. See if you can keep it hovering. Rise up, knee stays straight. Inhale, hips drive back and down. Now this is where you have to press deeper into this right palm to keep that bar straight. All of the weight here through this left heel, big toe, pinky toe. So just like a first lunge on the machine, hips go back and down nice and like a knees stay straight. Work to keep the weight in that front leg. So even if you're tapping toes down, I shouldn't see a shift back. So if you're tapping toes down, it's just tippy toe touch. Ever so slight little release, little bit of balance, and then rise to the top. The deeper you go, you're gonna have more flexibility, so you can go way deeper in this round of movement than you could in that single leg squat, but same form principles. Nice, Nicole. This is your last 12 before that first round of pulses. So we're gonna hold at the bottom, shake it out when you need to. I know this is a lot of time standing on one foot. You should start to feel ankle, calf activate as well, all those little muscles. You hold in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find your hold. Toes can tap down or see if you can keep them hovering here. You're gonna give me little pulses. So little bend, little extend through this left leg, squeezing through left glute, little lower down, little lift. 1-inch pulses, last 10. We're gonna go back to full range, drop the shoulders. Arms are as long as possible here. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You are back in that full range. One final time, just one standing move left. After this, work to hang on to that same level of effort that you gave me on that first side. You've got 20 seconds. Everyone check in for me. I see a couple of squares doing this. Make sure knee isn't coming back. So really watch that left knee for me. You have to engage through quad. Keep this left knee in place. It's just as bad for the knee to slide back when we don't want it to than to drive forward. So you're just going for stability in both directions, just a bend. If that means your range is smaller, that's what it means. Last 8, you're gonna find that hold. This time, we're gonna pulse through that right glute. We're gonna keep our right leg hovering if possible, just stabilizing with left leg, pulsing right leg. In 3, 2, and 1. Hold at the bottom. So left leg at the bottom. Give me little pulses through this right leg. See if you can keep it hovering. Hinge forward a little bit more. Nice, Jen. Really strong across the board. Last 8. You got it, Deborah. This is your last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is your shakeout point. Take a little shakeout. I'm going to change my angle. We've got our curtsies to close it out. So just one round of full here. Turn your left toes slightly out. It's hard to see, but I have my left foot sort of aligned with my base here. So left toes turn out. You're going to reach your right leg or right toes across the body. Make an X. Both knees turn out, opposite directions. Curtsy, control, control. Squeeze through this left glute. Kick to the top. So when you kick, again, it's a curtsy. You're not pressing off with your back knee. You're pulling and squeezing so tight through this left leg. Left leg is strong as right leg kicks out. So the work, the movement should be coming from that left leg. We've got 35 seconds here. Watch that lean. Try not to lean away from that kick. Really use those obliques. Think about pulling with that oblique to lift up. Your kick could be here. Again, my right hip is always a little bit tighter. So really not leaning here. It doesn't need to be high. If you start to feel that hip lock out, go a little bit lower. It's really just a challenge, this left leg, to find that single leg work. You guys have your final 18. Nice, Kat, I can't see you, but I know that form probably looks good. This is your last 10 seconds. We're gonna hold in our curtsy to pulse it out, to close out standing leg work. This is your last standing leg work here. So give me a few more reps. Again, you can always go for power, go for pace. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find your hold. Knees track out slightly. Arms are long if possible. Got most of the weight in this front heel. Give me little pulses to close it out. Little up, little down. We're gonna make our way to tabletop. Second to last series of class. Knees are not driving forward. It's just hips up 1 inch and down 1 inch. Final 10, stay with me. Keep those arms long. Keep that bar straight. Last 8, last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job, guys. Make your way down to the floor. Grab your stabilizers one more time. Stabilizers underneath the base. And then we're going to go to that highest resistance on the right avocado. So we're going to go to that highest resistance, that 9-pound on this right side. And we've got our knee pulls. So we're going to find that tabletop position. Option to bring palms to the floor, or palms come to your bar for that little bit of extra core challenge here. So we're gonna find right knee in towards chest to start. Immediately left hip wants to go out to the side. Pull everything back to center. Now we exhale, re-squeeze, kick that right leg back. Inhale, resist, resist. Knee pulls in. So I want you to think about keeping that thigh as high as possible for as long as possible. So that as the knee comes in, we don't just immediately drop the leg. I want you to think about keeping foot and thigh lifted as knee comes in and keep as much work as possible on that right glute. Always thinking about, I always say this, but thinking about trying to kick down a door behind you. So the work is really done on that extension flex and squeeze. You guys have your final 20 seconds here. And then we're gonna find that extension hold and go into those straight leg lifts. So a little bit longer here. You can always pick up that pace if that feels good, but going for form above all else. So going for that straight leg lockout at the back. Hips are staying nice and level. Press deeper into that right palm for your extra challenge. Can you hover that left arm, or maybe just take some weight out of it? So maybe you're not hovering it. Maybe you just come to a little bit of a fingertip touch on this left arm. This is your last 5. Hold back. In 3, 2, and 1. Hold at the back. Hold it here, going into straight leg lifts. My couch is in the way. I got to change my angle. But you guys go into those straight leg lifts here. So leg is straight the entire time. Toes are pointed. Lower down. Same thing. Resist toes down. Squeeze and lift up. Now everyone's going to have a different leg height. You're never going so high that you're lifting from low back. So your low back stays neutral and straight. It's a lift and squeeze from those glutes. Because we have this extra weight, you're going to feel more work in the hamstring with this heavier weight. You guys have your final 18, and we're going to lift and hold. So make sure you're going all the way down. I want a full move here, all the way down. Toes tap down, lift, squeeze all the way up. Yes, so find that little lockout, that hold at the top, not rushing through it again, just like those knee pulls. Resist down. That rope wants to release. You are in control, not this machine. Last 8. We lift and hold. Lift, squeeze, hold. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift, squeeze, hold. Lengthen through those right toes. Shoulders back and down, shoulders over wrist. Give me little pulses. So little lift, squeeze. Lifting that leg up 1 inch and down 1 inch, or maybe a little bit more, but you're trying to give me max effort through this right glute. Drop that right hip. Maybe you go to that hover. Final 8. Just hold. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just hold, just hold. Can you extend that left arm or just hover it? Final 7. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Awesome job, guys. You have one final thing left to do. One final move here. Little close out in the core. So grab a mat if you need it. Again, I started about 3-4 minutes late, so I promise I'm not just running super late. Give me about 40 more seconds, and then we will cool it down. We're gonna take a seat on our base, and I want you to have just one click either side. So just one click either side here, a little bit of C-curve work. So again, you can put a mat on your base if this is not comfortable. I've got my feet up by the bars here. And then I want you to grab onto actually these little black knobs at the base of the loops. So you're not on the loops. We're gonna grab onto the little black knobs so just so you have a better grip. So I'm really holding onto the metal parts here. Arms are gonna go out to the side. So I'm gonna go out maybe about 8 to 10 inches. Tuck through the hips, press through the feet to keep your base stable. You're gonna pull back on the rope slightly, but neck stays relaxed. We roll low back down. Little bit of balance work involved here. Core stays tight. And then we inhale, rise all the way up. So you have these C-curve tucks here. Rolling low back down. Neck stays long, chin stays parallel to the floor. Scooping through the belly. Think about pulling your belly button down and back. So you're trying to make that belly button disappear by pulling bottom ribs over the top of hip bones. We've got 30 seconds here. Option to add a little bit more upper body, but I know it's a lot of upper body today. You can actually keep pulling those arms out to the side to add in almost a little bit of a half reverse fly, but arms stay straight. So if you're adding in that extra arm press, think about squeezing shoulder blades together down the line of your back so that you're not lifting from the trap. So it's really a squeeze and open of the arms. Yes, Jen, awesome. This is your last 10, and then we're all gonna hold at the bottom. So we find our hold at the bottom. Last rep here. Hold in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find your hold. Arms can come in. If you want to take some tension out of the arms, or arms are nice and wide. Everyone drop shoulders. Arms are below shoulder height. Tuck through the hips. Give me little pulses to close it out. So think about rolling low belly down, rolling low back down, roll up 1 inch. So little tiny tucks through that low belly, hips pulling up, bottom ribs pulling down. This is our last 15 seconds, guys. Can you widen those arms a little bit? Stabilize through the upper body. Core holds the tension though. This is your last 8. Little tucks to close it out. Final 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job, guys. Release your rope slowly in. Step off to the side here. Press your base away. Actually, let's use it for a little bit of a assisted puppy pose here. So go ahead, bring your palms to the base. If you need to run, again, I understand we started a few minutes late, but make sure you stretch it out. Later on, stack your hips over the knees. So notice I've got my palms maybe about 6 to 8 inches where they usually would be. They were underneath my shoulders. Start to drive your belly. You can walk your knees back if you need it a little bit more. Drive your belly down, your chest down, and then you're gonna find a nice stretch through the fronts of the shoulders here. Maybe forehead rest, or You can keep driving the hips back and just find this child's pose. It's sort of like halfway between a puppy pose and child's pose, but you're just getting a little bit of extra weight, extra stretch here through the chest, fronts of shoulders. So for more stability, more support in the spine, drive your booty back. Otherwise, try to keep your hips over your knees and bend from upper spine. One more breath here. Slowly, everyone drive hips back for me. So everyone drives those hips back, finding that child's pose. Palms come underneath the shoulders, come up, find this tabletop, a little bit of cat-cow. We did a lot of upper back work here. So I want you to take a nice inhale as you round through the spine, press through the fingertips, drive the shoulder blades down the line of the back, pull the chin towards chest, shoulder blades to either side of the room, concave upper spine, and then you exhale, pull chest through arms, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, lifting the tailbone. A few more here. So really rounding and then finding that counter stretch. One more. Go ahead, come back through center. Find almost a modified plank here. So finding a little modified plank. We're gonna close it out with some hip circles, stretching out through the outer thighs. So I want you to drive your hips a little bit more forward, almost like I'm letting you sag down. So what we don't wanna see in that modified plank. And then I want you to drive your hips to the right and back, big hip circles. So that when you press more into one side, you should feel a little stretch through that outer thigh, maybe a little stretch through low back. Hips can drive back as far as you like, just big, big, big circles. But when you come in to this sort of sagging position, your shoulders are back and down. Supporting with upper body weight. Last one here, reverse your direction. Circles opposite way. Last few here. Again, pausing wherever it feels good. Just feel a nice stretch through each outer thigh as you drive it out. Last one here. Find that child's pose one final time. Option to have knees wide or knees together, but really reach those fingertips away from you. So trying to lengthen your spine either direction. Slowly roll up. Option to come to a seated or stay in this thunderbolt position. Closing it out with 2 breaths here. Big inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, push it out. One final breath here. One final big inhale. Open through heart center. Give me some wrist rolls at the top. Really trying to pull fingertips down towards that forearm. Reach the arms up and then exhale. Arms to the side, big shoulder roll up, back down and around. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I know this is not the best setup, the best lighting, but I appreciate it. I will make sure to plan better next time to make sure there's no privates that are going to be scheduled. But I so appreciate your patience and your joining me on New Year's Eve. So last class with you guys for 2021, and I will see some of you guys tomorrow, hopefully in studio. Otherwise, I'll see you Sunday.